Hey everyone, very soon we're going to launch the mainnet, and I want to show the eos-bios discovery file there. I want that everyone is able to join the network on launch, and I'm going to show you how you would do the join operation. If you've seen my previous video, you know that we now have a design for multi-stage updates, stage 0, 2, 3. And right now, today, as of May 11th, we have launched stage 3. There's approximately 8 teams in there, and today we want to launch stage 4. This is Friday today. And we want to launch staged updates like that and launching new chains every other day or something like that until the launch. This is the same process that we'll be able to launch the mainnet. Now, we need to have everyone join with their infrastructure and provide a big meshed network. Not everyone in there needs to be a block producer or try to be producing blocks. The goal is to launch the network, and votes will decide who get to be block producers. Now, in that discovery file I'm going to show you right now, there's a weighting mechanism, which is very similar to a vote. We've seen in the community, how do we vote for fellow block producers so that we vouch for them and then we sort of give them a little bit more decision-making powers. eos-bios is designed that way, and let's take a look at this here. In this file, this is the my discovery file from the sample config. You clone that directory, it has all the hooks and scripts you need, and a sample discovery file that you want to tweak. Here, that seed network HTTP address points to the previous launch. That's where you will have registered your discovery file. There's a smart contract called eos-io.disco, disco dance, and it's for discovery, of course, and there you'll have published a discovery file, and everyone will also have published theirs and pointers with the weight. So from that previous stage, we can find a graph of nodes that will work together to launch the next stage. This is what seed network HTTP address is. And this here is the identity of your identity on the stage network. A chain ID as of down 3 is not used, so we can safely ignore that until further notice. The network peers here are pointing to accounts on the seed network that you want to vote for. Okay, so these are EOS accounts. Eventually those will be 12 characters. Right now in DAWN 3 it's not enforced. And this is a weight from 0 to 100 saying how you think this person or this group can select the right contracts, the right boot sequence, the right snapshot, and do the operations in a safe way, and eventually be the boot node, okay? Again, being the boot node is no privilege, maybe for a little PR, but that's not how rewards are distributed. Rewards are solely through voting when the chain launches. So let's make sure the chain launches properly. This here is the seed network launch block. This is a pointer to the launch network, and it says on that block. So maybe you remember previously we said, oh, it's going to be a Bitcoin block, that's too slow, an Ethereum block, why? We have our own blockchain now. So the seed network advances, and this is the reference on the seed network. When we get to that, we take the hash. It's used to randomize the top 5 nodes in the graph, the weighted graph there, and then we can, out of that, pick the first. It's going to be the boot node that does an operation as a service for everyone. Let's continue here. You have URLs just so that we can, you can say this is my site, and an offset to help synchronize either launches or whatnot. Okay, so put your GMT offset. Do not start that with -0. This is going to be octal. Start with a number. Okay, now this little flag here is test, means that we will disable, when this is mainnet, all the debug features of eos-bios are going to be disabled. So right now, because we're in debug mode, we give money to all the producers that are participating so that they can try things and do some more operations in the stage tests, in the stage network. So when it's going to be 0, it's going to automatically disable all these features so that the end chain does not have any extraneous money distributed and properly destroyed every account. So that's what this is. So right now in the test stages, leave it at 1. And at some point near the mainnet, we can try also with a 0 to make sure that you can already review the code to make sure this is legit. We can safely ignore until DAWN 4. Peer-to-peer address is an address that you will distribute to your peers, and they will automatically, we're having another video about the mesh network that eos-bios builds. The peer-to-peer address is an address that people will use to put in their config to connect to you according to an algorithm. Okay, so this needs to be publicly reachable. It is possible that you put in there an address that is reachable only through a VPN. That's another discussion. Maybe if you have questions about that, I might do a video about that. But ideally, that would be publicly reachable address to have a very large swarm network that is all public and it holds together. So we're not like putting more exposure on some people than others. Everyone is gonna take a hit if there's anything happening, okay? Then HTTP address is something that the eos-bios program running either on your laptop or I don't know, on a cloud machine, whatever, needs to be able to reach that address to do some operations on the chain. Okay, it needs to be able to read the blocks to do verification through that address. And this is your account name. So this doesn't need to match the seed network. So you can, from stage to stage, you could eventually change your account name. I highly suggest you use a name that's going to be persistent. Okay, some other testnets have funky name. Use the name you're going to use in the future, because right now we're building the mind maps in our minds, right, to see who we're voting for. Like, make it 12 characters and stick to it until the end. That'd be better. Now these things here are the signing keys that are automatically injected in the chain by the BIOS boot. The BIOS boot discovers that network and it's going to go through all the peers in that network and register them. Create an account for them so you have a pre-provisioned account and register those keys for eventually these appointed block producers. Because the 21 that are set up at first, they need to have a key set up, and that's where you define it and you publish that discovery file. So the BIOS boot is ready to put your key there. Now obviously you have the private key of that somewhere that you'll inject in your join network hook, and we're gonna have another video about the hooks. This is the initial authority that controls your account, the account named here example com12 here. Okay, so you obviously need to have something that makes sense. This is a public key, change that, use something in practice, rolling your keys. And you know, for the mainnet, I think people will have something like a multi-sig here, right? With one or many keys, a different weight and threshold, at least for mainnet, but you can figure that out down the road. Now this here is the target content. I'm gonna have a video specifically about the boot sequence, but these things are the contents of the chain. Remember, the chain is empty and we need to inject a contract, another contract, create the accounts, create the snapshots. So all of that is specified in the boot sequence, which we'll see in another video. But the protocol here is that you have an IPFS reference. Anyone who wants to push a new thing just installs IPFS, a single binary just like EOS-BIOS, IPFS add, you put the file, and it's published to IPFS. Keep your node up so that it seeds the network just like BitTorrent. Then you can put that hash in the people's discovery file, and this is going to be used for voting. So the mechanism for that I'm going to have in another video too. I hope this was helpful, and if you have any questions or comment, drop it in the video or in the Telegram channel, EOS-BIOS boot channel, something like that on Telegram. Check the repo EOS-BIOS, the link is in there. Okay, have a great time.